everybody. Cheers. Welcome to Trades Lady Happy Hour every Wednesday night, where I get to meet with and get to know an amazing woman in the trades. It's always something different. You never know what you're going to get each week. This series has been going on for about a year and a half now, and I've been absolutely privileged and honored to have met as many amazing women as I have through this series. And I'm so grateful for Drive Time for helping be a partner on this to help keep it going, and really showing their commitment for supporting women in the trades by supporting this series. So I want to welcome you guys to Trades Lady Happy Hour. Those of you who are new here, welcome. Those of you who have been coming by and tuning in every week, so happy to have you guys here and back, and it's your support and continued hanging out with me that keeps me going and helps me keep doing this. So thank you guys. Hope you've all had a fantastic week so far. Just as fair warning, I have crazy kittens in the house. I have crazy kittens and crazy cats, and there is a very high probability that one or all of them will show up at some point during this, but hopefully we will be able to keep the peace here and not have it be too much of an interruption. But anyway, I'm rambling. I'm really excited for tonight's guest. I had the privilege of meeting her at the World Pack Expo about a couple weeks ago, I think already. Time flies. She is a young woman. She's an automotive technician. She has a side hustle as a custom painter, airbrushing, doing custom artwork. Very talented young woman, full of fire and passion, and just really struck me when we got to meet a couple of weeks ago at the expo. So I'm really excited to have her join in on this. I'm going to check on over and see if she has joined the room. Oh, I see your face.
Hello. I exist. Hello.
You exist. I see you.
I'm sorry. That was weird. I don't know. Because it was loading, but it wasn't popping up.
That's all right. No worries. I see you. I hear you. You can see me?
Yes, I can.
All right. We're beautiful. We're good to go then.
Good afternoon. How are you? Sorry for that intro.
That's all right. Hey, weirder stuff has happened. I think, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Half of the interview, they couldn't hear me at all.
That's weird.
Just hear my guests. So weird things happen. Instagram, technology, whatever. Look, I can fix cars, but I can't fix phones or computers.
That's about how I feel. I'm technology inept, and I have to learn with the way cars are going today. So
I know. It's true. It's true. Well, cheers, lady. It's good to see you.
Absolutely. Cheers to you as well.
What are you sipping on there?
I wish there was Jack in here, but I'm trying to be good tonight, so it's just soda.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I can respect that.
No, it's okay. Honestly, I respect what you're doing, so that's fine.
Well, I'm super grateful that you said yes to joining me. I know it's not always comfortable for everyone, so I'm really excited to have you on. And
thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We need to introduce you to the fine folks at home. I know Danielle, and I think I can pronounce your last name. Is it Valkovic?
Vaklavic.
Vaklavic. I'm totally wrong. Okay. See,
it's okay.
What nationality is that?
Czechoslovakian. Back when they existed as one.
That makes sense. Okay.
I don't know too much of my family heritage, and I just know that it's Czechoslovakian, and it came from like my great grandfather and all that. So
okay. So say it again. Vaklavic.
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 Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna try to remember that, and I'm gonna try to not mangle it again. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I've had worse. I've had people call my phone and they just don't even pronounce my name. They just skip it.
Yes, and I appreciate your response. Like I've heard worse. I've been called worse. I guarantee it. Not always flattering. So tell everybody at home who you are and what you do and where you are doing where you're at.
So my name is Danielle Vaklavic, as we have established. I am 25. I'm going to be 26 in a couple of months. And I am based in Medfield, Massachusetts, but I work out of Norwood, Massachusetts at Laren Automotive as a full-time automotive technician.
So you're 25 years old, so you're a total baby. And you've been doing this for how long?
Since I was 18, and I still wish I got into it sooner than that.
Of course. Of course. I mean, how much sooner could you have gotten into it?
I I don't know. Like, I wish I was the person to like tinker around with like lawnmowers or stuff when I was younger, but I waited till I was in my 20s to do that, I guess.
Fair enough. I never got into lawnmowers, but yeah, I can relate to you on that. Like I didn't find it until much later in life because I wasn't exposed to it. Do you feel like you just weren't around it, or what kind of
I
stopped you
never,
earlier?
honestly, the fear of not knowing because I didn't know enough and I always felt like things were over my head and that I kind of degraded myself and told myself I probably couldn't or maybe run with those people or the gearheads. Um, but I don't know. I always had a passion for it and I always went to car shows with my brother. My brother is 3 years older than me and we always stuck together and he and I were very close and we went to many car shows and I always had an interest, but I'd never wanted to pursue it until I went to college for art and realized sadly I was wasting my money and came home and realized that I was chasing the wrong passion.
Interesting.
And I just started turning wrenches.
Okay, so there's a whole bunch in that I want to talk about, if that's okay, because that was a whole
Absolutely.
lot right there. So hey, I warned that there were cat fights during this. That's what's happening. Sorry.
It's okay. If you can mail one or ship one to Massachusetts legally, that would be awesome.
I feel like shipping kittens is probably not legal.
No, it's terrible. They have to go on transport, and that's just cruel. Don't do that.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Although I'm not sure if it's any crueler than the fact that one of my cats is being a little bee and just refuses to tolerate the kittens. But yeah, grumpy little girl. Anyway, okay, so when you were younger and you were going to car shows with your brother and didn't pursue it, was like, did you feel like it was out there as a career path choice and you just held yourself back from it out of fear, or was it never even did it never even occur to you that this could be something you could do professionally?
Yes.
Okay.
I never thought that I could do it professionally. I never thought I would. Realistically, the sad, honest truth, Bogi, is I thought I would never be able to make enough money to make a living these days.
That's a valid concern.
But also, I thought the same if I was going to go to college for art, and then what do I have to show? Like I had nothing to fall back on. I can draw, yay. But,
Yeah.
The point was that I needed something to fall back on and never thought that it would be a logical career to go down into a trade. In my town, it was never considered, I guess, right to go into a trade. Everybody was told to go to college. So I never saw it as a possibility, I guess.
Did you guys have like auto shop in your high school, or no?
Nothing.
None of that.
And that's why I say I kind of kick myself because a lot of people left our just public high school and went to like folk schools around in the area. And I really wish I did the same because I feel like I would have maybe have found my passion sooner and maybe honed in on my hands-on quality because I didn't learn, I think, soon enough that I'm not a book person. I'm not a good reader. I'm more of a hands-on learner.
Okay, so I have to ask you because I feel like this is kind of a big topic of conversation that I hear from kind of leaders and influencers within the automotive industry, kind of looking at how do we reach younger kids? How do we reach them in high school or middle school? And
Yeah.
and kind of one of the things I feel is like the programs exist, the interest is there. Like middle school and high school kids have an interest in this stuff. They're just not getting exposed to it necessarily. So you're kind of saying that these programs did exist, like there were VOTEC schools near you. What can folks do at these schools, or what can our leaders in the industry do to resolve this issue, to get to the kids like you who don't know that they'd be good at this?
That's a really good and hard question.
Yeah,
Um,
sorry.
no, it's okay. In our school, we did go to like I think one place in the area, but it was for one day and it was very broad and none of it was really expressed to the point of how far you can actually go in terms of a trade, whether it be electricity or just technician, whatever, doesn't matter. But none of that was discussed, and I think it's important to maybe have just like anything or like a focal point or maybe even a week or like kind of like maybe even a trade show or something small in like the cafeteria or something about it and just discuss different trades and the fact that it is a career and it's not frowned upon if you don't necessarily go to college because we all still have to go get tests and complete tests and stuff like we still have to go for ASEs as technicians and stuff and that's what I'm working on now and
Nice.
so it's we still have to learn. So I think we need to better enforce that in school, but I think you're right. The question is how.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like so many folks like you and I, because it was the same for me. Like I didn't know that there was a career path option called being an automotive technician. Like I guess I kind of knew it in a sense, right? Because my family brought their cars to somebody and they fixed them, but it like never was presented to me as an option. And I feel like there's a lot of kids who have the same kind of feeling as you. Like I wish I'd been exposed to this earlier.
Correct.
It's an interesting thing. I hear the old folks, the older generation often saying like, kids these days, they just don't have an interest. I'm like, no, they do. They don't know. They aren't being reached out to. They aren't being encouraged.
Correct.
No.
And I would have never have known if I didn't get so deep into it and had so many helping people along the way to help and
Yeah.
train me and teach me and all that. And never mind the experience where I met you in the expo. So it's just like the experiences along the way and marketing. And it's crazy how one thing leads to another. And it definitely does need to be addressed more in school. It is more important.
So you went off to school. You went to art school, college, I presume, like an art college. Where did you go?
I went to Temple University in
Okay.
Philadelphia at
Yeah.
the Tyler School of Art.
Okay.
Um, I'm not gonna lie to you. I stayed for a semester. It
Okay.
was terrible. And then I came home and was going to business school because I'm like, well, I guess I can run my own business in art or whatever and do that. So, but at that point, I had kind of figured out that I like cars. So in the morning, I had started wrenching. So I was burning myself out. I was getting up at 5:30 in the morning to be at work for 6. I literally rolled out of the bed. I was a
Wow.
classic college student. Um, Went to work, worked till 1, and then went to college till 10 at night, and then kept doing it over and over. And I commuted like 45 minutes away.
Wow.
So it was just like an ongoing thing. And yeah,
Okay, I feel like
I
we
could,
skipped a major thing.
yeah, I can spiel on and on.
No, but we
Sorry.
skipped we skipped something major. Like how did you start working as a mechanic at a shop in the first place, and where did that like when did that shift happen after art school? While you were in business school, when were you like, I like this, I want to do it, and gosh darn it, I'm gonna, right?
Yes. Sorry.
Like that's a
I,
big gap.
no, it's okay. I'm sorry.
No,
So
no apologies.
when I had come home from college, I had gone to my local shop, like I within walking distance of my house, and I asked the guy if I could kind of like shadow in the shop, and he's like, "Well, yeah, I guess so." And I was there for like a day or two, and he was really rude to me. He was really mean to me. He was really off-putting. And I was like, not gonna happen. I don't think this is the place for me. It's uncomfortable. And the other tech kind of poo-pooed me, and it wasn't the place for me to be. So I was like, you turn into the, oh, I'll show him. And it started from there, and I went to so many places. I went, oh God, I don't even know, at least probably a dozen different places in the surrounding towns about asking, hey, will you train me? Will you train me? Will you train me? So many no's, a lot of people that just flat out said they don't want a woman working there. I was like, okay, cool, it's fine. All right. And then I wanted to give up, and I found this one shop kind of like on the corner of across my town. And I walked in, and it was an older gentleman, God bless his soul. He's still around, but he's finally retired. He worked till he was like 68.
Hey, that is not old.
Well, no. For working when he had 3 back surgeries, he needed to
Okay, that's
retire
fair.
way sooner than he did.
That's fair.
Um,
Okay.
but his name was Bill, and he was a great man. And I walked in and I said, "Hi, my name's Danielle. I don't really know a wrench from a ratchet. I'm going to be honest with you, but I'd love to learn about fixing cars and following somebody's footsteps. Will you train me?" And he was very polite, and he said, "Sit down, young lady." And I had a seat, and he looked at me and he said, "You're going to hear a lot of dirty and foul things in this industry. It's, it's coming, it's coming around and it's being better, but are you prepared to, take what you have to offer and go forward?" I said, "Absolutely. I think I've heard it all. I can do this." He looked me dead in the eye and said, "You have balls. I'll train you."
Oh my God, I
And we went
love
from
it.
there.
I love everything about that.
He was, it's just kind of the way my life has gone, and everything has kind of been funny but fallen into place like that. And he took the jobs that he could, and like I said, at the time, God, he was 62, 63. So, even younger than that, oh my God, I don't even know. Time flies.
It really does.
So, but I had moved on from doing just regular tune-ups and tires and brakes and wanted to learn more. And as time went on, I just was like, I need to move on, because when I was going to college, after a year and a half of trying to go to business school, I just left. And it's sad because I spent all that money and I was like, I'm not grasping anything from this. This isn't what I want to do, and I'm never gonna be into something and that I'm not, I'm not going to learn something that I'm not into. So
Although,
that's,
you didn't waste that money though, right? Because you paid that money to learn the lesson of this is not,
yes,
which is a valuable lesson in and of itself.
an
So,
expensive lesson.
an expensive lesson, but we have lots of those over the course of our lifetime. Some of them are more
Yes,
expensive than others, but
yes, absolutely.
I love that he was willing to give you a chance, even though, probably was concerned about it and
Absolutely.
had some apprehension. But I also love your perseverance in taking all of those no's and continuing to keep looking. What what kept you going even though you were getting so many no's? What was driving that?
I'm very hard-headed and don't like to take no for an answer.
Okay.
I'm very stubborn, and a lot of the time I say to myself, oh, if that person can do it, I can do it. Everybody's only human, and I figured, eventually somebody's got to say yes. Even if I keep going to the same place or say, hey, I'll just sweep your floors. I don't care. I just want to be around it. I just want to see. And for a while, that's how I had started. But then I started with the simple oil changes, and then, spark plugs and tires, simple stuff like that. And it
Yeah.
goes up.
I love the
So,
humility with which you asked. I don't know a wrench from a ratchet. Like I I appreciate that so much because I feel like so many young people are new to an industry kind of come in with like bravado and acting like they know more than they do when coming from the approach that you did, like makes people want to take you under their wing and teach you.
I hope so, because like I like to try to think of myself as a sponge, and I really just I want to learn. Like my boss right now has me really adamant about these ASEs, and I have most of the books. I just went through them, and apparently, boss man, I don't know if you're watching, but apparently I'm missing like 2 or 3, so I gotta get those. But Um, it's yeah, it's a lot of work, and I really want to push just to learn more and be that sponge, because I think it's really important, because if you don't learn something, my philosophy is if you don't learn something every day, you're not doing it right.
What was it though? Like we kind of talked about how you started asking and looking for places, and you worked at that one shop for a couple of days, and but was there something that happened aside from coming home from art school that that gave you that motivation to even go into that shop and ask? Like, because then we talked about in high school, you didn't really know that this was a career opportunity. What shifted between that and I'm going to go find a shop who's going to say yes?
I don't know. I think it was just the drive to learn, to want to know about the machine and be overtaken of how it works and figure it out, and the satisfaction of being able to fix something, or not being stranded on the side of the road helpless as well is helpful as well.
Yeah.
Um, but it's also just, I don't know. I think it just was always the fascination, because I kind of always envied and looked up to my brother and how much he knew, like talking about cars. Oh, that's a 5.0. Oh, that's a blah blah blah. Ah. And I'm like, oh my God, what is that? Oh, and it always fascinated me, but I never understood, and I never followed it. And I followed it because I wanted to know. And I think it was the unknowing that made me interested and progress more and more.
Do you feel like there was something that like happened to like almost give you permission to pursue this as a career path? Or did you just like get overwhelmed with like, this is what I need to do at some point?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't I don't think I can answer that.
That's all right. That's all right. I ask weird questions sometimes because you never know
No,
what
that's a good one. You have me thinking.
because it's an interesting transition, right? Like you kind of went from
Absolutely.
I don't know that this is an option to F it, I'm doing it. Like what triggered that shift for you and made it okay for you to pursue this? And if you don't know, that's okay. I just find it fascinating. I think a
I
lot of
think
people
it
can
was
probably relate
also
too.
absolutely. I think it was also maybe the fact that I was always different, and I had always followed a different path, and I had never really seen or been around any women automotive technicians, or never mind many mechanics.
Mhm.
So I don't know where the switch would have come from, or the drive,
Yeah,
but I just had the inspiration to want to fix cars because I loved the machine.
I love it.
I, I That's a good question, and I'm gonna have to think of it. And it might come to me later in this talk, so if I just blurt it out, that'll be that.
But more likely you're gonna wake up at like 3 in the morning and you're gonna be like, I know.
I'm gonna be thinking about it.
And then you have to
Absolutely.
message me and tell me because I really want to know.
I will.
I feel like a lot of times, women particularly coming into like a male dominated, very male dominated field, it's sometimes like it's either out of spite, right? Like they said no, I'm going to show them, um, or that there's kind of this like waiting for the universe or somebody or something to almost give us permission to pursue it, whether it's a family member or whether an event or something that happens that's like, oh, I can do this. I'm gonna do
Mhm.
this, right? So it's an interesting thing. But anyway, I'm digressing. So you go from doing sweeping floors and just assisting to doing oil changes, to doing spark plugs. Where are you at now? Tell me about the job you're at currently and what that's all like.
Fantastic. um, so I am one of 7 technicians right now. Um, we have 2 buildings. I am in the second building with
Wow.
3 other techs, and we
Nice.
have like 7 or 8 lifts. I'm probably wrong with how many down there, but I have 2, like every tech has 2 down there. So yeah, 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah. Um, and we do everything. This time of year is getting ready for race season. We have a lot of people in getting their Porsches ready or their Beamers ready. And otherwise, we do everything, anything from, the simplest of oil changes to engines and transmissions,
Nice.
including myself. I personally love the bigger jobs. I love working on the trucks. They like to send me the American trucks,
Okay.
which I do not mind because I thoroughly enjoy.
Nice.
And my specialty lately in New England has been rusty Ford manifolds, exhaust manifolds.
Oh joy.
Yes, so
And you
much
like
fun.
this?
Uh for some I like a challenge. Yes, I do. I
Well, that
enjoy
is
it.
certainly a challenge. I like, no offense to the Ford folks out there. Like, Fords are cool, but I hate working on Fords. They're
Yes.
so annoying to work on.
They can be. I know it so well sometimes, like that I almost prefer it, and I'm so used to it, and I have small hands, so
Interesting,
I can usually fit in between the body or the firewall or whatever and get where I need to be.
right?
Um,
I
Getting
think
the torch in
being
there is
used to
another.
it. I think it's the being used to it, right? Because like people are scared of working on BMWs, and I'm like, they're so much easier than these other cars. Fords are horrible, right?
See, I'm the opposite of you. I don't like BMWs, which is like one of the biggest things we work at my shop right now. So I'm getting used to it and learning a lot, but like they're completely foreign to me.
You'll come around. You'll come around to
I,
the dark side.
I'm trying, but it's, those straight sixes are nice, but they can be, you know, pretty scary sometimes.
Fair enough. But once you've conquered them, like, it's good stuff. It's a good feeling. So you
I
do
thought that was
all.
funny.
What's that?
I thought that was funny because
Oh,
we're the complete opposite
I know, right?
with what we like to work on.
That's right. And well, and I think it's an interesting thing too, because like, we're always, people are always comparing themselves to others, right? And it's like, oh, you work on BMWs, those are so complicated, and I'm like, oh, you work on Fords, those are such a pain in the ass. Like, it's like
You're
what
not
you're
wrong.
used to, right? It's what you're used to, and everything else feels challenging until you get into it and you realize that it's all the same, right? Like
Correct.
an ice
All the
engine.
same, but a little different.
Yeah, same but different. Exactly. So what is the stuff that you like aside from rusty Ford manifolds? What is your favorite type of work to do?
Um, oh, honestly, anything. I love doing, like, honestly, if I could do, this sounds ridiculous, but brake jobs and tires all day, like, that's as simple as it gets, and that makes a lot of money these days. So
Well, yeah,
I'd do,
that's the gravy work.
exactly. It's nice to tune out sometimes and get days like those, but otherwise, I love the more in-depth jobs. I love doing the engines and transmissions. I love it. Or, I mean, I love hubs too because you get to bang on stuff and take your anger out with a nice big hammer. Or the air hammer. That's my
Cheers to
favorite.
that. There's nothing like using when you're
Absolutely.
angry. It is a good de-stressor.
Absolutely. Um, but other than that, I don't pretty much anything. I'm really trying to get into I've been working on my diag lately and it's really been picking my brain. Um, so I'm kind of getting into that and solving the puzzles and wiring diagrams and stuff like that. So I'll take it all. I really don't care, honestly.
Is there anything that you don't like?
Um, I mean BMWs. No,
That's it. We can be friends.
no.
I'm kidding. I'm totally
Um, no, honestly, the only thing that I really don't like are like Fiats and Minis.
interesting.
Honestly,
Okay, why?
like
Yes.
just I don't know, just the way they're put together. Like I haven't probably worked on them enough to have experience. But I feel like when you go do work on a Mini, everything is just like jammed. Like I have small hands, and everything is just jammed in there. But Mini is also a byproduct of BMW, so.
Right. Hey now. Something something just happened funky with your audio. Did something change?
No, can you still hear me?
I can hear you, but your voice just raised like 4 octaves, and I know it's the audio, not your actual voice.
Oh my goodness.
I
Huh.
mean, it's fine. We can still hear you. I think it's
Oh,
okay.
okay, cool.
I think it's okay. Um, and since I'm thinking about that, I'm able to see some of the comments that just came in. Somebody asked if you're commission or hourly. Are you flat rate or hourly?
I'm kind of hourly because the projects vary on how much work is involved. It can be very intensive. Like if it's something simple, it's obviously not going to be as intensive, but definitely hourly with
Yeah.
how in depth and custom this work can be.
Is everybody at the shop hourly? Do you know?
Um, I believe so.
Okay.
Um, I think so. I'm not sure.
That's fair. Have you worked on the flat rate system at all?
Not much, no. I
Nice.
mean, kind of, I haven't really been in many professional places as such as this, so.
Oh, your voice came back to normal.
Oh, okay, cool.
So weird. I don't know. Very bizarre. But anyway, you're back. Welcome back. I think that's honestly a good thing being hourly, especially when you're still learning. Although, I mean, you've been in this long enough. I don't know that we'd consider you I mean, we're all still learning, right? But like, you're not a baby in the industry anymore. You've got some time under your belt. How do you guys stay continuing education? How do you continue to learn? It mostly from other folks at the shop? Are you going to training? I know we saw you at Expo.
Um, so the expo, like I've been at this place for just about a year now. So I'm pretty new, but they've done several expos before like the Corona existed. So I guess there was one in Texas.
Yeah.
Um, but like I said, my boss is really pushing me to do like ASE stuff. So stuff like that, and he's really encouraging to. He actually gave me a book too that I have sitting out and need to read as well. Um, I mean, there's so many classes available, and he basically just says, like, what do you want to sign up for? What do you want to do? Go for it. Like he's willing to help with that, and I imagine setting up more trips as well in the future of when it's going to happen again. But who knows what the way the world is? But
I know. I know.
so
It sounds like you have a really awesome boss. How did you stumble into this place and how did you find him?
actually, one of the service writers I had known who actually worked at that shop that I first walked into,
Oh,
and the
interesting.
guy was treating me kind of crummy
Yeah.
in my hometown. And she found that place, and we had become friends ever since. And years went by, and I reached out to her just out of the blue and said, "Hey, I don't know where you work, but are you guys hiring?" I was kind of desperate at the time, and I got very lucky. Very
Uh,
lucky.
well, I wouldn't call that luck necessarily. I mean, that's a beautiful thing, but like the lesson for other folks in that too is like, don't burn any bridges, right? Because you never know. Like, yes, you went into this place and you got treated horribly, but there was a purpose in the end for it, right? It's like the person
Yes.
you met there connected you, and keeping those relationships with people and not burning bridges is a testament to you,
Absolutely.
right? So
Absolutely.
not purely luck. It was your hard work, who you are as a person that got you. So that's super cool. So is she still there, service writing at that shop?
Yes, she is.
Nice. So you have a
So it's,
number of women at the shop.
yes, we do. We have two. Well, three, including me. So, but,
I think that's
so,
so
yes,
incredible.
because you said cats. My cat is next to me. I'm surprised he's not in the shot.
I wanna see your kitty. That sounds awful.
Oh, he just jumped down. Hold on.
Aw, so. Oh, look at that fluff ball.
Oh, yeah, he's a major furball. Kitty intermission.
I
He's
love it.
he's a yes, he needs his spring grooming.
Oh my goodness. That's just like a big old ball of fur. That's so cute. um, Anywho, what were we talking about before cats?
Oh
Squirrel.
my goodness, so much.
So much. So, I mean, your boss really has created an environment where kind of everybody is welcome. it seems like.
Yeah.
How
He does. Yes. Sorry, continue.
no, please go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that like it's the best work environment that I've been in because he really tries to literally make everybody happy, and that's really hard to do. But he tries to accommodate with everyone very well. Like if you need something, it's hey, what can I do for you? How can I help? And it's really comforting to know and that he's very approachable. So it's good.
And there's six, seven other techs in the shop besides yourself and the one other woman who's there, correct, as a technician, right?
Yep, Alex.
Alex, yes. How are the other guys in the shop with you? And like, is it something that the boss is doing to kind of create that culture and that environment, or
So I was really nervous when I came to the shop at first because it was the biggest male environment that I've been in at once,
yeah?
if that makes sense. Um,
Totally.
so I was worried and like I was wondering if he was going to do something or anything different or whatever, but everyone was super accommodating. Didn't make a difference, still doesn't make a difference. If they see, like, they can read me like a book now. If they see I'm struggling, they'll come over and ask me if I need help, if they can do anything, and I'll do the same for them. It's it's really a team effort, and everything has just fallen into place. And I'm very grateful for the down to earth people that I work with.
That is so refreshing to hear.
Yeah.
As you know, going to all of the different shops, just trying to get your first opportunity, how big of a deal that is, and to find a shop like that is so full of respectful and appreciative people,
Yeah.
where the energy is so good. I'm so excited, happy for you. I'm excited for you found this place and that it all kind of worked so well together. I love it. I'm curious from your perspective, like it is also something we talk about a lot in the industry is like, how do we keep technicians at our shop? How do we attract good technicians to our shop? As bosses, as your boss, like what is it he's doing that is creating that? Do you know like what's creating that environment and like making you all like making you happy to work there, I guess.
Well, I'm sure I can speak for all of us, and I know some people are watching, and it can drive us insane sometimes. But he's very smart with what he does. He has a certain procedure in place, a list. It sounds kind of bad, but a list of rules and regulations that obviously need to be followed in the workplace, and just an accommodating team, and everything falls into place. I mean, his system of operations, like all our stuff for our work orders and all of that are on our phone. And we do multi-point inspections all the time on vehicles and AAA courtesy inspections. And it goes through everything in the vehicle. Engine air filter, cabin air filter, spark plugs, transmission fluid, differential fluid, you name it, everything. The belt, the moisture content of your brake fluid, and all of this is marked. And everything, once it's done and submitted through our phones, it gets sent to the service advisors, and everybody, the lines of communication are open. And the service advisors will come out and communicate, and it's just, I think that is the biggest key as well, is communication in this too. And it's a very good set of systems in place that are very successful, clearly. So
Yeah, I love that. And it's great to hear that from your perspective as a technician, right? I think those having those operating procedures and those standards and the structure is something that shop owners and managers kind of talk about a lot. And some don't really understand the purpose or why it's important. And just hearing from your perspective, like having all of that in place, like takes almost an element of stress away, and it makes it very clear like what you're supposed to do and takes away that element that could, I think, cause tension in the shop ultimately.
absolutely. And it's when the communication doesn't happen between the writers and the techs, that's when things go wrong.
Absolutely.
But,
Very,
like stuff happens during the day. Like if you get caught with a million things and the service writers have people in the office, you're like, oh, well, I'll come back. Then you get caught in something and you forget, you know?
yeah.
So much stuff happens.
Oh, always. Always. And, something just happened.
I'll come back, then you get caught in something and you forget.
I don't know what is happening right now. I am hearing back what we are talking about from the other room,
Whoa.
and I don't really know where it's coming from. At first, I didn't realize it was you talking, and I thought maybe my cats turned the TV on by accident, but that was super weird. Did you hear that on your end?
Yes, this is the strangest live stream ever.
This is the strangest. We just got possessed for a second. I don't have no idea where that was coming from.
Gross!
So crazy. Anywho, my house has okay, we've gone down all of this amazing rabbit hole of your shop, and appreciate you kind of letting me kind of pick your brain on this stuff. But there's a whole area that we have not even come close to, and we're already 3/4 of the way through this. So I need to pivot, and we need to talk about your airbrushing. And like, I love this because you've kind of gone back to the art and pulled it in and made everything like a passion together, and kind of brought those pieces together. So talk to me about your airbrushing and how you started doing that.
Back in 2013, back in the day when I was just a wee baby, I was a nerd and went to King Richard's Fair, which was basically a Renaissance fair.
Nice.
And
nothing nerdy about that at all.
Oh, it was fantastic. My cat's bothering me again.
That's all right. It's fine. We're friendly here. Everybody's
apparently so. So I met this artist named Ed Beard Jr. and we've kept in contact ever since, and following him on Facebook was a life-changing event. And like, I saw him and his airbrush work and I was like, huh, I think I can do that. I can try that. And I just had a commission one day and got a good sum of money and purchased a whole bunch of airbrushing equipment and taught myself and watched YouTube videos. And
I love you skip these major things in your story. You're like, so I thought I could do that, and then I got a major commission.
Like, well, it was my first major commission through Ed, actually.
Through what?
Through Ed, this artist that I met, actually.
So through a job your way, like how did you get this major commission out of nowhere? Like,
he couldn't. He's wicked busy, and he couldn't take the commission at the time. And I guess the guy had wanted the commission for his baby that was going to be born, I think, in May, because I remember the piece had like a Roman numeral 5 on it. And it had to be done in time. So Ed couldn't finish it by the time that the baby was going to be born. And I was the first person that he had recommended.
Amazing.
And it went from there.
Okay, so back to what your original kind of thing was in the beginning of how keeping in touch with people and not burning bridges and keeping in relationships going. Like, wow, you met him at a Ren fair, and then there you are.
Exactly, and it's all about who you know and word of mouth. And he also recommended a commission from a woman from Florida with one he couldn't finish in time as well, because she needed to go to a car show. I did a mirror image of the underside of a hood liner on a Challenger.
Oh, wow.
So it was the exact engine when you looked at the hood liner, but then obviously you're looking at the engine down below, so it's really deceiving when you look at it together.
Fun.
So he definitely pushed me along a lot of the way.
Yeah. I mean, you had the artistic skill, right? I mean, obviously you were drawn to art enough to go to art school. Where did you pick up airbrushing particularly, and how did you get good at that? Or is that something that you learned earlier in like art school too?
So I never learned it from anybody but myself. Um I watched Ed on Facebook do all this stuff in vans and like mural, the 80s vans from way back in the day of like all
Yeah.
that cool stuff, like the hippie vans. Um, but so many cool mural work and even on Corvettes and stuff and bikes and tanks. And I was like, I think I can do that. Like airbrushing seems like the way to go. Like a lot of people aren't going to sell hand painted canvases anymore, like people want something that they can drive or take care of, because motorcycles are inside for the bad weather. So
Right.
they only come out when it's nice, and that's what people are going to spend their money on.
Yeah. I love your approach. You've said this a couple of times throughout of like, I'm not gonna make any money at this, but like this is something I can make money at. It's like you're very pragmatic at the same time as being passion driven. And I think it's a unique combination of things. Um, your drive is so inspiring to me. I hope you know, and I hope you see this about yourself. The the talent and the perseverance is unique and awesome. And I'm seeing comments. A lot of you have a lot of supporters out there watching this who are saying how wonderful and the airbrush artist you are, and how great of a tech
Thank
you
you.
are. So you've got a lot of love out there. A lot of people cheering you on. I love it. So you're doing kind of your own business with this airbrushing, right? How
Trying to.
so I mean, do you just kind of take commissions here and there? Is this like I mean, obviously it's not a full-time thing because you have a full-time job, but how are you toggling between those two?
I kind of just take like private commissions. I rarely get people that actually want to go all the way in. Like I recently just had a guy do his entire bike. Like that's rare. I will
I saw your
rarely have.
video of that. Like stunning work, phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Um, like very rarely will people want to do that. So, I mean, I'll kind of sit and wait, but I'll go to like motorcycle shows and hand out cards and stuff, and everybody will talk, and I'll do like a helmet here and there. So it's not like too bad when I have a small project because I'll come home after work and then just paint into the night or on the weekends. But when it's a big project, I mean, I was up till like 2, 3 sometimes in the morning or whatever painting, and then going to bed, going to work, and then coming home and painting all over again. So
Wow.
it's a lot. It can be a lot.
What recharges you? What do you do that kind of fills you back up when you're working that hard and that intensely at two jobs?
The only drive that I have, honestly, Bogi, is to better myself. I don't wake up and I don't compete against anybody. I don't want to compare myself to anybody. I want to compete against me and me only, and be better than I was yesterday. I want to be a better person. I want to be a better tech, whatever it may be. But I think I think the drive of the unknown, even though it's scary, is also what fuels me because I want to know. And I don't want to have a wall, and I don't want to be stopped. I don't want to have somebody tell me I can't.
I like I like that. What do you feel has been like your biggest challenge, either with the airbrushing business or with being a technician? What's what's been the biggest challenge thrown your way throughout this process and this journey?
I think you and I both know what that is.
If you're
Uh,
comfortable talking about it, please feel free to. If you don't, that's okay.
I'm more than willing to. Um, I think the greatest challenge, absolutely, that I've faced, whether it being a woman or a man, anybody can speak for this, has honestly been depression. Um, it's been really tough. Um, Basically struggling with yourself and competing against yourself. A lot of the days, um, I'll have an attitude problem a lot and kind of be a little big-headed about some things, about how things should be or whatever, and it's, I don't really know how to put it, but it's a really big struggle, and I think we all can feel it. And dealing with the attitude has really been the biggest struggle in terms of the depression, because it brings out a person that you really don't want others to see.
Hmm.
And when that happens, it's something you can't really take back. You just have to work on improving yourself. And I think there are a lot of steps and actions that anybody can take to do that on a day-to-day basis. And I think definitely the levels of communication have to be open, because I think everybody deserves a support system. I don't care if it's me, if anybody listening needs to reach out just to have somebody to talk to, please feel free to message me, because maybe somebody needs to hear that call. It doesn't matter who it is. It's a struggle for everybody, and I had asked you at that all women's meeting, what makes you get out of the bed in the morning? Because a lot of the days sometimes you can struggle, and you don't want to look at yourself in the mirror, and when you do look yourself in the mirror, it's the greatest feeling, because you know you can't do it, and you know it's going to be okay.
I so appreciate your willingness to talk about that and share that, both at that event at World Pack as well as now. It it almost baffles me, and of course, the world, we will never see ourselves the way the world does. I clearly see in front of me this confident, beautiful, talented woman who is well spoken and put together and
Thank you.
just so wise beyond your years. But I know you don't necessarily always see it that way, and I think that's something that so many of us can relate to. And mental health is so not talked about enough. And I think we as women in a male dominated field particularly often struggle with that, because it can be lonely, right?
Yep, absolutely. And there are, I I think a lot of people have realized at work that I am not good at sometimes hiding my emotions. I've had one of the worst years this past year, but one of the best years this past year, because my life has done not a 180, but it's done a 360. And there's so many days that I have just gone in the bathroom and cried and just melted down and just stared at the ceiling tiles and counted tiles to try to calm my brain for no reason other than the mind that I'm in my own head. And it's something that anybody struggles with. And everybody deserves to be able to talk about it, because it is scary. And you're never alone. You're never alone.
What are some of the tools that you've learned to use? And I don't mean tools in your toolbox, but to be able to reach out. I'm talking your metaphorical toolbox, right? To help you get through those moments. Like you talked about counting ceiling tiles. What are some of the other tips that you have for maybe other people out there struggling with the same thing that you are? And I think so many of us do. How do you keep going, pushing through that?
So it might sound kind of stupid, but the first thing I actually try to do is count out of sequence. If you try to trick your brain, it tries to focus on something else and almost takes you down. Like if you're having a panic attack, it'll back you up, and your brain will try to rethink what's going on and
Wow.
redirect it.
Huh.
It sounds stupid, but if you actually really try to focus, because then you'll start to think about the numbers out of sequence. You'll be like, one, wait, no, two comes next, so I can't say two. Then you'll say five. You'll start to it's weird. I'm telling you, if you're out there, try it.
It makes
But
sense though, like giving your brain something else to focus on.
yes, it's so simple but stupid at the same time. It works. But a lot of the time also, I find myself, I want to be alone. Don't let yourself be alone. Whether you have a significant other or even your parents, make a call and just be like, hey, I'm having a bad day, I'm having a moment, take my brain off of it, talk about something else. I think the biggest thing is obviously, again, that communication and being able to have a good support system. And some people, unfortunately, don't have that. But I think anybody would be willing to sit down and listen just to get it off your chest,
Thank you so much. I think we don't talk about mental health enough. We don't talk about these struggles at all. And I think I told you this at the women's lunch. Like, I feel like so much of depression is that feeling of aloneness and feeling like you're the only one dealing with it, when little do we know that like 8 out of 10 of the people around us are also feeling lonely and depressed, and like they're the only one feeling that way. And if we would all just talk about it, maybe we wouldn't feel so alone. Maybe we wouldn't be so depressed.
Correct. Absolutely.
And I'm sure there's a number of folks who are watching this right now saying, oh my God, yes, me too. So I applaud you for sharing that. Very much so. You are stronger than you know.
Thank you.
So on that note, well, I've got a tear in my eye as well. We have 2 minutes left. I don't know where the hour went. I feel like I could hang out and talk with you for hours. This was so wonderful. I truly hope that you come down to Phoenix to participate in the bill and hang out.
Yes.
Please do.
Yes.
Please do.
I need to sign up for that. Do you have a time frame where it would work or be better, do you think, for my field of design, I guess, is what you could say?
It all depends on what you want to do. If you want to work on stuff that you're comfortable with, or if you want to come out and learn stuff that you don't know, it's all up for grabs. But reach out to me offline about it and we can chat about it, but you definitely have to come out because we got to hang out some more. I can't thank you enough, just for existing, for being you, for being out there doing what you do and inspiring other people through who you are and what you do. I thank you for coming on this, sharing your story, sharing who you are, spending some time with me. I've got some folks in the audience who are asking how they can follow you and support you. How do they find you?
I'm right here on Instagram at Danielle's Airbrushing.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
I mean, I'm on Facebook too. So
nice. I will have a link in the comments on when I post this up. So you will be able to find her, follow her, show her some love and support, and support her art and what she's doing, and follow along on her journey, because who knows what we're doing. Uh-oh.
I dropped you.
Don't drop me.
I'm sorry.
I'm delicate. Don't drop me.
I'm sorry.
I'm excited to see how your journey continues to unfold in this field and in this career, and I encourage everybody to follow along and see. We've got more adventures in store for you, I'm pretty sure. So I thank you. I thank everybody who's watching for tuning in and hanging out with us for this last hour. I do have one final thing that I like to ask, and that is if you could leave us with your words of advice. If you could talk to the younger you, or even to yourself right now, like, what is your advice? What do you need? Did you need to hear? Somebody else there needs to hear it too.
You are going to break the glass ceiling. Keep going and be strong, because it's going to be okay.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Bogi, it's been an honor.
What's that?
It's been an honor. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
It has been my honor. Thank you for joining. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in at home. Thanks for coming back week after week to meet all of the amazing women that we've had on. If you're new, please come back next week and join us. Every woman, it's every week, it's somebody different with their own unique story, and they're inspiring. They're amazing. Hearing their stories is fantastic. Why I do these happy hours is because there's so many amazing women out there, like this amazing woman, who often don't get a lot of attention or get a lot of love, and they don't they're not seen, and often not heard. And so these happy hours are really about helping show them off a little bit, shine a light on them, and celebrating them. So hopefully we can grow in numbers. We can see more female and women in the industry, automotive technicians, painters, body techs, airbrushers, welders, you name it. So that's what this is all about. And I appreciate you guys all tuning in and hanging out with me. I do have to lastly thank our sponsor, Drive Time, for helping make this possible, for showing their commitment for women in the trades and allowing me to keep doing this. It's absolutely an honor to do it, and it's an honor to have you guys all join in. It's been an honor to have you, Danielle, as my guest. And with
Thank
that,
you.
I am going to bid you all a good night. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.